Now, joining us on the show, we have Dr. Dinky Einsidel, a registered architect, urban planner, and environmental planner. Magandang umaga. Welcome back to Morning Matters.
Thank you. Good morning.
The suggestion of the President that this Oplan Kontra Baha involving dredging and drainage cleanups, is it particularly new? I mean, like, we've seen this as a solution in the past many times. Actually, madalas nga, ito lang yung pinaka-solution ng gobyerno. How effective do you think it would be at this point? That 9-month cleanup, what should we expect out of it?
Well, it will help, definitely. Ang problema kasi dito sa atin is continuity. Kasi nung araw pa, there had been, when I was Commissioner for Planning of Metro Manila, we already, and that dates back to the late 1970s, there were already campaigns cleaning up the Pasig River. Ang problema is, stop and go. It needs to be continuous because as population continues to increase and economic activities continue, solid waste is going to be generated, and unfortunately, a lot of it ends up in our creeks and rivers. So yung paglilinis talaga, dapat yun continuous.
Bakit nga ba hindi continuous yan? Meron po tayong budget for flood control management. Hindi po ba, what is your knowledge as to why there hasn't been a maintenance plan for this? And what would it take exactly to declog our drainage systems?
Okay. Kasi, culturally, mahilig tayo mga Pilipino magtayo ng bago. Pero hindi tayo magaling mag-maintain kung ano yung naitayo na. So, madalas tayo ng bago, pero hindi na maintain properly yung naitayo. So, while merong mga budgets and may mga plano for regular maintenance, parang hindi siya nabibigyan ng importansya. And then, ang nabibigyan ng importansya ay yung pagtatayo ng bago. No? Puro bago. Ang nangyayari nga, pag nagkakabara-bara na yung mga drainage system, hindi masosolve yun ng bago. Kailangan linisin mo yung...
Sino po ba ang in charge doon sa maintenance ng drainage systems natin?
It's a shared responsibility. No? Kasi ang classification ng mga kalye natin, kung saan nandun yung drainage system, meron tayong national road, so under yun sa DPWH. Then,
even the maintenance?
Even the maintenance. Now, merong mga kalye which are under the local governments, so ang mga LGUs ang may responsibilidad doon. Now, interconnected yan. So, kailangan pati yung maintenance coordinated. Hindi pwede yung gagawin ng national yung sa kanila, pero hindi gagawin ng local yung nakakabit sa national pipeline. So, parang ineffective yung magiging maintenance na gagawin ng DPWH kung hindi gagawin ng local governments, yung kanila namang parte.
Kumbaga, hindi mo naman mapipigilan yung baha na tumawid ng boundary.
Right. That's right. Hindi naman titigil sa boundary yun.
And do you think a central body would work to be able to have oversight?
In the case of Metro Manila, it is supposed to be the MMDA. Trabaho ng MMDA yun. Diba? Kaya nga, kasi yung 17 local governments...
Pero bakit nga ba hindi napunta sa kanila?
Actually, nasa kanila yung coordination. Kasi nga,
yung flood control.
Sila yung tulay dun sa DPWH and the LGUs. No? Now, why they are not able to do it on a continuous basis, I don't really know what the reasons are. Matagal na akong wala sa gobyerno, so I don't really know what the reasons. Bakit hindi siya nagagawang tuloy-tuloy?
Well, speaking of just having one synchronized plan across all cities, you have been pushing for the revival of a master plan centered around the river basins. Hindi po ba meron naman po tayo nung plano na yon? It's been discussed several times during the administration of Pinoy na meron nang nagawa. Have you seen it?
Well, I have not seen any. Pero nung I tried to investigate, kasi ang DENR ang nag-oversee nung preparation of the river basin plans. Ang nasabi sa akin is that the river basin plans were not entirely flood control oriented. It was a management of the river basin in terms of ensuring na continuous availability of water or irrigating agricultural lands and protecting environmentally sensitive areas. So it's not just flood control. So according to DENR, yun daw mga river basin plans were not complete in terms of flood projects. That's why hindi siya nai-implement. So ngayon, with the launch of the new program, I understand that they will be trying to update the plans. So
do you think that's better to have to take that perspective of managing the river basins, or would it be better to just focus on flood control, or have those two separate?
Well, kasi may mga solutions to the flood problem that are not infrastructural. In other words, it means management of the land, management of land use. So, for example, the amount of development that takes place in a city, when you build a lot of buildings, streets, and parking lots, nababawasan kasi yung ability of the soil to absorb rainwater. So, the amount of land that is supposed to be left open is an LGU responsibility because sila yung responsible sa land use planning. Now, so yung drainage system, ano lang dapat yun kung ano lang yung papasok dun sa mga underground, kung ano lang yung sobrang tubig, yun lang dapat ang ina-address ng drainage system. The other aspects of flooding should be addressed by land management, zoning, the use of land, preservation of protected areas, etc.
So what's the starting point that we should take here for a proper flood control management plan?
Well, yung science kasi talaga, that's why maganda yung naging umpisa nga ng river basins because yun ang kumbaga platform for coming up with an integrated, comprehensive solution, not only to flooding, but for water supply in terms of quantity and quality. So, comprehensive siya, integrated siya. So, yung river basin plans is really a good starting point. Yun nga lang, because parang hindi siya nabigyan masyado ng pansin, hindi mo agad makuna ng projects that you can immediately implement. Although, if you, ito nga isa sa mga advocacies we just had a symposium yesterday on promoting nature-based solutions. Kasi yung nature-based solutions includes, for example, tree planting, including rain gardens in your parking lot, including collecting rainwater in your houses, using drums. So, meron nang immediately magagawa, even at the household level, na hindi siya kailangan ng heavy infrastructure. Makakatulong siya, maybe not in a very big way, pero makakatulong pa rin.
And actually nga, if naglagay ka ng, makikita mo yung mga daan, kapag naglagay ka ng semento, mas lalo pang binabaha.
That's right.
Imbis na, and you're not supposed to put cement on some areas. And speaking of land use, we don't have a National Land Use Act yet.
Well, yeah, matagal na nga pending yung National Land Use Act. Ilang congressional sessions na yan na nakabinbin. In spite of the fact that it has been pronounced by a couple of presidents that they're priority, pero for some reason hanggang ngayon wala pa rin. And it's important to have it. Kasi yan ang nag-delineate, nag-define.
What's the hold-up?
I think there are some vested parties who don't like to have that definition or delineation of what are areas that are developable and areas that should not be developed. Kasi siguro mawawalan sila ng negosyo kung madedeclare na non-developable yung mga areas na nila, land bank nila. So, yun ang, I think that's the deterrent to it.
Let's take a look at Cebu. Meron nakapagbanggit na natayuan doon yung ilan sa mga protected areas. Kaya binaha. I mean, what do you know about the topography of Cebu?
Ang pagkaalam ko is that there was an ordinance, a city ordinance, declaring a protected area. Pero natituluhan. Now, alam naman natin, pag natituluhan, then the holder of the title feels entitled to build on it. And so, walang magawa yung city government kasi titulado, naging titulado yung lupa. So, they could not enforce the ordinance and sunod-sunod yung naging development. And that was, I think, a major cause of the flooding.
If this National Land Use Act comes into play, what happens now to pre-existing titles and developments?
Well,
is it still, I mean, the question I guess would be, is it still possible at this point to enforce, given marami na rin po tayong mga areas na, yun nga, ganun ang lagay, na hindi dapat tinayuan, pero natayuan. What can we do at this point to be able to...
Well, from an urban planning perspective, I think ang pwedeng gawin doon is pag-aralan kung paano mababawasan yung negative effect ng development dun sa area. Hindi siguro totally paalisin o palilipatin yung mga nakatira doon dahil meron din naman silang property rights. Pero siguro yung mga possible reduction measures to reduce yung damage, siguro yun ang pwedeng matingnan kung anong pwedeng gawin. I think this is where a community citizen participation approach is necessary. Yung kailangan mong kausapin yung mga tao. Ano yung kailangan ma-explain din sa kanila. I think they need to also be educated. If you remember some of the problems in Antipolo before, yung Cherry Hills, yung gumuho yung condominium doon sa bundok, and then ang daming namatay. That could happen to them. So I think they need to also be educated that and they need to be made aware na kung hindi mo babawasan yung risk of a future damage, that's the kind of danger you are in. Diba? So I think makukumbinsi naman, and there would be some kind of a middle ground siguro na pwede. It may not be 100% guaranteed na talagang safe ka, pero at least mabawasan man lang sana yung extent ng possible damage.
What do you think is working for Iloilo's flood control project? I mean, the Haro floodway has been trending and has gone viral online for being a flood control project that works. What are you seeing there in the way that the Japanese do their flood control projects?
Well, fortunately, I was involved with that project. It was part of an ADB-funded project, yung Metro Iloilo-Guimaras Infrastructure Master Plan. So, ang advantage yan is napag-aralan well in advance. And it considered the whole of Metro Iloilo, hindi lang Iloilo. No? Kasi yung tubig baha, nanggagaling yan sa upstream, which may be in another LGU or in another province. Di ba? Pero yun nangyari sa Sendong sa Mindanao. No? Another province yung pinanggalingan ng tubig, bumaksak dun sa Cagayan de Oro. So, napag-aralan in the case of
How many years did it take before it was built?
Well, it was programmed for construction over a number of years. No? Pero kasi mayroong plano at naikasa yung budget, continuous yung implementation. Kasi yun ang problema sa flood, yung one of the reasons why we have a lot of floods, is yung mga projects na iniimbestigahan ngayon, putol-putol eh.
Chop-chop.
Chop-chop eh. project to project instead of a continuous master plan, para bang na-chop-chop siya. In the case of Cebu, yung flood control master plan na Cebu, it was an integrated master plan and then continuous yung implementation. Now, ang maganda pati sa Cebu, si Jerry Treñas continuously was the mayor. And then nung si Jed Mabilog took over, itinuloy pa rin nung ni Jed. So, there was continuity in the implementation. Ang problema kasi in other areas is, pag iba na yung mayor, parang umpisa ka na naman sa umpisa. Kung ano yung naumpisa, ititigil dahil ibang mayor daw ang makikinabang
Actually,
doon.
meron nagko-correct niyan online, galing din po sa Iloilo, I think from the city, from Chief of the Public Information and Community Affairs Office, Nereo Lujan. We tried to guest him on the show. Sabi niya, nakumpleto raw itong Haro Floodway before pa ng time ni Mayor Treñas. So this took me a really long time. May feasibility studies before it was actually constructed. And then nung panahon niya, parang nagdagdag na lang daw ng parang improvements sa revetments.
Well, kasama yung kasi sa pag-aaral, paggawa ng master plan. Kung meron ng nagawang previous improvements that need to be integrated into the plan. Kasi nga, yung problema ng flooding is complex. It involves a number of LGUs, a number of levels of interventions by the government. So kailangan talaga pag-aaralan ano yung nagawa na before, ano yung naka-propose in the future, and how are they interconnected. So ipapasok mo yun doon sa plano, then you come up with the budget for implementing it, you determine how many years and who will implement. And
pero kung titignan mo po yung floodway, wala siyang revetment walls on the sides. I mean, ano yung technology na ginamit nila?
Well, no, kasi before when a flood control project is undertaken, dun sa pag-aaral, saan yung natural drainage ways? And then, ano yung characteristics ng drainage way na yun? If it's an existing river or a creek, ano yung nandun? Now, marami kasi sa Iloilo mga mangroves Yung mga creeks and rivers nila, marami silang mangroves And since nakakatulong yung mangroves to delay the flow of floodwaters and to absorb the floodwaters, ni-retain nila yon. Hindi nila inalis.
Hindi nila pinalitan.
Hindi nila pinalitan. Kasi ang ginagawa doon sa ibang lugar, sinisimentohan nila agad Ito, hindi nila sinimentohan.
Pero parang meron po. There is also a presence of gray infrastructure still with that floodway. Iba lang yung pagkakatayo niya. Parang mas level.
Yeah, meron kasing sistema called gabions.
Yes.
Ito it looks like a cage, a wire.
Yan po yung GI steel.
Well,
galvanized iron steel, tama po ba?
Well, it's either a steel cage or a metal cage na perforated siya or kumisan screen parang chicken wire ganun. Tapos mga bato.
Yun po yung ginamit sa Haro flood?
I'm not sure whether what was used in Haro kasi detailed engineering na yan. Pero that is what landscape architects use.
Okay.
So that pag flow ng tubig sa ilog, instead na simento, it flows through these gabions. And then,
I understand what you mean kasi I did the flood control management in my own area.
Okay.
And I used gabion. At tama po kayo, yung sinasabi nila, lumulusot kasi yung tubig.
Yes.
Imbis
it slows
na
down.
mo.
Kasi pag sinementohan mo, pinabibilis mo yung flow ng tubig dahil solid Pero kung gabions, it slows down So it also prevents erosion.
Although the gray infrastructure involved in the Haro floodway includes revetment, ground sills, sluices with slide gates, with flap gates, inverted siphons, all of which are engineered concrete and steel structures. So meron pa rin.
Yes.
I guess we have to study, no?
Yes, hindi.
What makes it work?
Yeah, hindi naman kasi sinasabi na don't do the hard infrastructure and the hard engineering. pero it has to be done in the proper places. Yung report kanina ni Secretary Vince Dizon na inimbestigahan nila yung mga ghost projects, marami din silang na-discover na projects, mali ang pagkalagay ng dike. Instead na makatulong sa flood control, it made flooding worse. So, in fact, I think they will be destroying or demolishing that because nakakasama napapalawak yung flood.
So do you think we should remove the dike construction altogether from the district engineering office and just move this to national? I mean, because you're also balancing here, I understand, no? Parang somehow you're balancing the long-term solutions and also trying to mitigate the effects of the flooding on the local community surrounding these flooded areas. Kumbaga parang lalagyan mo ng dike yan para hindi makapunta o hindi manganib yung buhay ng mga taong nakatira malapit doon. And so, yun yung binabalanse mo dito.
Pero kailangan mo pa rin kasi yung problema kasi ng baha is site-specific, location-specific. So, kailangan mo nung district level intervention. Ang problema is baka kulang ng capability at the district level. No, that's why nagkakaroon ng mga projects na mali ang pagka-design, mali ang pagkalagay, and there's not enough people who were able to check. Now, I understand itong bagong programa, yung nilaunch kahapon, DPWH has mobilized experts to help them in checking whether these proposed projects are science-based and technically correct. So, hindi yung parang iniwan na lang dun sa district to implement what they want to implement.
And I guess that's the reason why we do need a master plan para kung sino man ang may hawak nun ay naiintindihan na iisa lamang ang plano and we're all moving towards.
That's right. So may master plan ka at the national, but you also need a master plan for the river basin and for the district level as well.
Well, I think there are solutions at hand. It's not like we haven't seen things that work. We just have to piece them all together.
Yeah.
In the meantime, maraming salamat for joining us this morning and helping us gain more insight into what should be done moving forward. We have Mr. or Dr. Dinky Einsedel, a registered architect, urban planner, and environmental planner.